let kindness become your superpower for becoming wealthy. I know that's a bold statement, but stay with me because I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove it to you that this is one of the most valuable things that you can do to help you go further, faster, and become more wealthy. And remember, wealthy means to be healthy, happy, and financially abundant, baby. And so one of the most valuable and important and practical and effective lessons that I've ever learned from my many coaches and mentors and teachers that I've had in my life that have helped me go further, faster, and in turn help other people go further, faster is don't teach theory. Do not teach theory for yourself and for other people as well. And what that means is don't teach something that you don't do yourself, that you haven't gotten results yourself, that you don't practice for yourself. You see, I can't teach you how to swim effectively if I don't know how to swim myself. There's going to be uncertainty in the words and the energy that comes out of my mouth. And you're going to probably think to yourself, well, you can't swim. How can you teach me? And it won't be as effective. And so when I talk about kindness here, I'm coming from a place that I practice it myself. And the results that I've gotten, I'm going to share with you. As a matter of fact, I've broken it down into 3 different things. I took it to the next level so that you can understand it better, so that when you go after this that I'm about to teach you, you can go, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this is how it works and that it will work. And that is this. 3 things. Number 1, whatever I teach, whatever you teach, whatever we talk about, if you don't want to teach theory, make sure that it is rooted, it is based in science. What does that mean? That it is explainable, that there's strategy, there's process, there's techniques that will produce a result. There's physics behind it and all those things. I know those sound like big words, but when you look at it, if you, again, I go back on the metaphor or the example of teaching somebody to swim. If I teach you the right moves and I explain to you why cupping your hand like this is going to push the water, and I show you the right things, that's tangible science behind it. There's physics behind it. And you can understand it. You go, okay, that makes sense. And then it will work for me as well. And then the second thing is that make sure that it is based in empirical evidence. And what that means is that it's duplicatable. Not just once, not just twice, but over and over again. If you follow these specific steps and strategies and processes, you will produce a result. Not just once, not just twice, not some of the time, but all of the time, or at least most of the time. Science and empirical evidence. There's evidence that through time, this has worked over and over again. And then the third thing is, if you really want to take it to the next level, make sure that you've gotten results for other people as well. You've helped other people as well. Now, this is what I call a cybernetic loop. And what that means is one feeds into the other. When you are teaching and you're talking about something that is provable and you're talking about something that is duplicatable, then it makes you feel good about it, obviously, and you're going to do something, you're going to help somebody else, and then it makes you feel better and it goes around and you become stronger and stronger in whatever it is. But I started this off by saying kindness. Now, kindness, as a matter of fact, I have a dictionary definition of it here. Here is the dictionary definition of kindness. Kindness is the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. And that's great, and that's absolutely true, but how does that help you? And so, again, based in science, I've taken it and broken it down into some very simple things. First off, here's what I want you to know. My personal belief is, and this is my scientific explanation of it, and that is kindness is a verb. It is something that you do. To me, kindness is the act of doing something for other people that's going to help them, that's going to help them go further, faster, that's going to help them become healthy, happy, more financially abundant, or whatever it is. Kindness is doing something, again, that is generous, that is considerate, but doing something so that other people feel it, they see it, they understand it, and they got it. So there's a change in them. You know, I teach something called neuroencoding, and I always tell this to coaches, mentors, teachers. And by the way, you don't have to be a coach or a mentor or a teacher to do what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that if you adopt some of those practices, best practices, then guess what? You're going to start getting better results as well. But I always tell people, don't just teach stuff. Get a result. Get a result. And your kindness produces a result in somebody. Changes the biochemical makeup that flows through their body. It makes their heart beat differently. It makes the endorphins and dopamine flow through them. It makes them feel worthy. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel loved. When you do something for somebody else. When you put somebody else's needs and wants ahead of your own, or at least alongside of your own, That makes people feel good, but here's the deal. It makes you feel good as well. Remember I said science? There is so much science behind it. As a matter of fact, I wrote a book about it. It's one of them around here somewhere called Get Happy Now. And the verdict is out. It's science. There's so many university studies, Harvard and Yale and you name it, UCLA, everywhere, where they found that happy people, my book is called Get Happy Now. Happy people are healthier. They have better relationships. They wind up being more, as I say, wealthy, make more money, if you will. And this is just all fact. You go look it up. But here's the cool thing about it is that when there are practices that you do that you can produce happiness that are going to produce those types of results in people. It's what I've been teaching for so long. And people wonder why, I always start off with, listen, what's going on in your life? Somebody comes to me, whether it's business coaching or real estate or whatever it is. And I always start to ask the question, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? Because I want to start there and I want to help that person get out of oftentimes that trench that they're in of self-loathing and imposter syndrome and self-doubt and uncertainty and all those things that hold them back. Well, the science is, like I said, the science is out that happier people are more wealthy. But you're saying, okay, well, happy is one thing, but what does kindness have to do that? Well, listen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever done something for somebody that made you feel good? You gave maybe some money for somebody that didn't have something, or you helped somebody across the street, or you did something just out of the kindness of your heart. You did something. How did that make you feel? It made you happy. It made you feel good about yourself. It made you feel good that you did something for somebody else. So you're not only doing it for somebody else, guess what's happening to you? Dopamine release, immune system. Listen, this, like I said, the science is out there over and over again. I'll tell you, my mom is a perfect example. I love my mom. Obviously, I've known her all my life. And in 1988, my mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer. The doctor told us, myself and my sister, that she had about 2 months to live. Now, fortunately, I had met, now he's a friend of mine, but I had met him shortly before then, Dr. Deepak Chopra. And Dr. Chopra said, listen, that if anybody ever tells you that, you tell them, well, first off, his statistic was, I think it was like 8 or 9 times out of 10, when somebody tells somebody, whether it's a physician or whatever, and by the way, I'm not knocking physicians at all. They're some of the most loyal and some of the most dedicated and some of the kindest and considerate people on the planet. And they will tell you as well, the science is out right now, that when you tell somebody that they got a terminal disease, something happens to their immune system. And oftentimes, if you tell them they got 2 months to live, they die on or near the date of that time. So if you tell them they got two months to live, 60 days, they're out. And so Dr. Chopra said, listen, if you ever hear that, you say, doctor, or whoever I told you that, I appreciate your diagnosis, but I will not accept your verdict. And so that happened to my mom. And I almost went to blows with the doctor to get him to not tell her that. And I had also been studying, and I had read a book by Dr. Norman Cousins, who healed himself from terminal diseases and helped other people through laughter. And so I read that book, and very long story short, I kept my mom laughing and kept her happy and focused on where she wanted. And my mom lived another 11 and a half years without cancer-free. Now, I'm not saying that this is magic. I am just saying that the immune system gets bombarded with dopamine, it gets strengthened when a person is happy. And it's just science. It's just the way that it is. And I told you that story about my mom because I've helped other people do that over and over and over again. Just laughter. When you laugh, when you're happy, when you do things that make you breathe differently, your body thanks you for it. And it thanks you by going, I want to live, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that. I'm going to produce the types of antibodies. I'm going to produce these things to stay healthy. Now, that's just one side of it, but that's science. That is science. And the other side of it, the unfortunate side of it, is the amount of people that go into a hospital and never come out because they got that going on. They're scared, all that stuff. That's the antithesis of happiness. And so why do I say kindness? Is because kindness is the quickest way, outside of you just going and smiling, but the quickest way to produce deep-seated, long-lasting, duplicatable, processional happiness, kindness. But here's the challenge, is that achievers, which is probably who you are, and I'm one as well, achievers have what I call the achiever's fatal flaw. Most of them will die with this flaw. I don't want that for you. And that is this. They're not kind to themselves. They're kind to other people, sometimes not, but oftentimes they're kinder to other people than they are to themselves. If somebody else talked to them the way that they talk to themselves, they wouldn't tolerate that. They wouldn't tolerate it for a moment. They'd be upset with that person. But achievers tend to beat themselves up. And if this is you, I'm putting you on blast right now. If this is you, it's time to make a change, because that doesn't work. That is the antithesis. That's doing everything the other side. That's making you unhealthy, making you unhappy, and making you less financially abundant. Again, science. You see, achievers, even when they achieve something, they go, I want to make this kind of money, or I want to make, get this car, or I want to, get this vacation, I want to do that. Even when they get it, they go, I should have done it faster. And along the way, they go, well, I'm not doing it fast enough, and something's wrong with me. And they push, and they got one of these going on in their face, and all that stuff, and there's all that stuff. And then at the end of it, they go, okay, that was good, but I should have done it faster. What's next? And the challenge with that is, along the way, and even when they reach what they want, the body is bombarded with, and you hear me talk about this all the time, it's just science, it's just fact, something called cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. It's taxing on your immune system. It's taxing on your brain. It's taxing on your thought. It's taxing on your actions and your activity to produce the results that you want. It slows you down. You see, you don't operate at your best when you're stressed. That's not rocket science. You know that. You operate your best when you're happy, when you're certain, when you're confident, when you have that carrot on the stick, when you are positive about something, when you're happy. And the quickest way to get there is to be kind to yourself. That's right. Be kind to yourself. Now, I'm going to give you a little exercise, and you can test how kind you are and have been. And I'm going to give you something that you can do to be kind to you as well. Because remember, kindness is a verb. It's something that you do. And it is the most, in my opinion, especially among achievers, one of the most underutilized and underpracticed processes and skills that you can have. I opened this up and I said, make it your superpower. Make it, because it is a power. Power is something that is going to produce a result. So start right there. And it's a processional effect, because here's when I say processional effect, it's global. Meaning if you do it, then it doesn't just affect you, this thing right here. It affects everything that you do when you approach something. You'll notice yourself waking up, more attentive in the morning and more excited to go and do something, to make something happen, excited about the day. You find yourself going, hey, my life is awesome. And I'm not saying that bad things are not going to happen. I'm just saying that don't stay there. You see, the other antithesis of kindness, because lumped into kindness is gratefulness and like I said, happiness and joy and all of those things. But kindness is the verb to produce those things. Kindness is the action, is the activity to produce those things. When things happen and we get fearful, and remember, there are no fearless people. There aren't. Everybody has fear, self included. But there are people who fear less. And what I mean by that is they may get fearful about something, but they don't stay in that fear for very long. There's something that defaults them to going, okay, well, let me do something about this. This is only temporary, or, this has happened before, or I can change this, or whatever. And if you watch any of my other videos, I talk to you about how to evaluate any situation and get out of that situation, but they don't stay there very long. When something shows up, the way that the body works, the way that the mind and the body and the connection of all those mind, heart, and body work together, and in that order, by the way, think feel, do. The way that it works is this. When something happens that especially surprises us, our brain goes, what does this mean? What does this mean? And if it's something that's dangerous, if it's something that scares us, then we go into what's called our sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight. We go, I'm going to take care of this right now, or I'm going to get the hell up out of here. Either way, I'm going to save my own ass. I'm going to get out of there. And that's fine. That's great because it'll put you on blast. It'll put you up. It'll get that adrenaline going, and it'll make you alert, and it'll go, okay, there is danger or something bad could happen. But guess what? Oftentimes something good could happen. Worry makes us just go, look, where's the worst thing? And we stay there. But instead, if you're kind to yourself and you practice what I'm going to teach you to do, your brain will calm down in that moment. It'll go, okay, this is stressful, and I'm the man, I'm the woman. I can do something about this. I can change this. Sun's going to come up tomorrow. I've come through worse than this before. And even if this is the worst, I will get through it. And that kind of conversation comes from your own certainty in yourself. And your own certainty in yourself is going to come from you being kind to yourself. So here's what I want you to do. Here's what you want to do. And that is to be kind to yourself. So first off, it always comes down to this. Awareness is always the first step. So I want you to be aware of how you treat you through the day. And so for the next 2 days, what I want you to do is I want you to set an alarm on your phone. When that alarm goes off, I want you to evaluate it. Just take it just a few minutes, evaluate the things that you've said to yourself in the last hour. And most people are going to go, I don't know what I said to myself. I don't remember that. Well, that's saying something. If you're not talking to yourself, if you don't remember what you've said to yourself, then that's not kind. You know, people say, well, she should know I love her. He knows I love him because, I'm here, that kind of thing. Well, if they don't know, what we say is that the meaning of communication is the response that you get. If you're communicating by doing something, and they don't feel that, then that's the meaning of it that they mean. If you tell somebody, I love you, and they go, you don't really mean that, then that's what that means, is they feel that way. So you've got to be real clear to you what it means. You've got to be real clear to you that in the last hour, if you didn't say something like, I love you to yourself, if you didn't say, hey, that's all right, if you didn't look around and go, I did this is great, I'm awesome, that kind of thing. If you didn't do that in the last hour, it just tells you where you are, awareness where you are. So I want you to do that for a couple of days, and I want you to check out what you do. If you found yourself that you do say kind things to yourself, pat yourself on your back and say, yes, I'm going to do more, because your nervous system will go, well, let's do more of it. Now, once you find out where you are, don't beat yourself up. Just go, oh, here's what I am. And now go to the next step. What else can I do? And all I want you to do is set your alarm. Now, I use my phone, and I want you to use your phone or whatever, something where it's got an alarm on it that will remind you. Because what happens with people is they have with the best of intentions, but they forget. We get bombarded with distractions. And now what I want you to do is every hour when it goes off, I just want you to go like this. Watch very closely because it's super complicated. I want you to go like this. Ah, yes, I love me. I'm amazing. And say something like that. Your affirmations, your words that come out of your mouth. You see, if I tell you something, you might believe it. But if you tell you something, you will believe it. Human physics is if you do something over and over again, it will become a belief and it'll become part of your habit. And what you're going to find out is the thinker behind the thoughts, the soul behind who you are, is the one that is going to be loving you the most and is going to be kind to you. And so what's going to happen is you're going to start to feel it. And as you start to feel it, you start to practice it, you start to do it. Second thing is do something kind for somebody else at least once a day. Even if it's just picking the phone up and just saying, hey, I was just thinking about you and I just want you to know I appreciate you. That's it. Get rid of it. Or, give somebody that has less than you, maybe contribute to them, or charity or something like that, to where when you walk away, you feel good about yourself. So basic. Remember, it's those three things. It's science. It is duplicatable, meaning empirical evidence, and you're going to produce a result for somebody else. And that's that cybernetic loop. And in the end, and then going generationally or geometrically, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel kinder about yourself. You're going to be healthier, happier, and guess what? Even more financially abundant. Lastly, remember this. Life is exactly what you dare to make it. And fortune always favors the bold. So boldly step up and be kind. I love you, and I'll see you at the top. I'm out.